Hello everybody and welcome to the Derek Ruby Show. I am your host, the previously mentioned Mr. Ruby. And before we get started today, I would just like to apologize because I've been doing schoolwork the last few weeks, so I haven't had a lot of time to make videos. But with that out of the way, this is my spoiler-free review of Marvel's The Black Panther. When it comes to Marvel movies, they typically knock it out of the park, and The Black Panther is no exception. Much like what DC did with Wonder Woman with the Island of Themyscira, Black Panther really shows you the scale and wonder that is Wakanda. Now when you first see the landscape, it really shows off the stunning beauty of Africa, and man, I really felt like I was about to go to Pride Rock from The Lion King, which doesn't surprise me because it's the same company. But once you get past that and you actually get to see the city of Wakanda, you're going to be taken aback by the scenery. There is not an overuse of CG. As a matter of fact, when you're down at the ground level, you feel like you're in a traditional African village. But the way that they show off the scale of the buildings and the technology of Wakanda, they really represent the comics very well in this movie. The Black Panther shows off one hell of a cast. Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Forrest Whitaker, and everybody else does an excellent job in their roles. Hell, I would go as far as to say that just about every character in the movie comes off like a badass. They were all able to make me suspend my disbelief and have me believe that I was really watching what was happening in real time. Particularly the lead character T'Challa is a major player in the Marvel Comics, and this movie made him relatable to anybody, and I think that's important. Much like Spider-Man Homecoming, Black Panther feels very self-contained, but when they do leave the country of Wakanda, the movie stresses the nature of how important the country is to the world, but they keep the focus where it belongs, so whenever they do leave, it makes sense to the plot. In terms of pacing, this movie is excellent. You'll never feel like you're bored. The action scenes are amazing. Andy Serkis and Michael B. Jordan do an amazing job playing villains. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to Michael B. Jordan's character, it's not so clear-cut of what kind of a villain he really is. Now, you're going to hear a lot of stuff on the internet about politics in this movie, and I'm going to tell you right now, that's a bunch of nonsense. Before I even saw this movie, my buddy Garth Marlin, you can follow him at Garth Marlin on Twitter, told me that this movie is going to present you with several political arguments and what to do in certain situations. And there is not really a right or wrong answer, and it's kind of up to you, the viewer, to make up your mind as to what the right thing to do is. So I have to give praise to this movie because a lot of movies have a political agenda and they try to tell you how to think, and this movie never does. In some situations in life, everything's not always black and white. There is no clear-cut right answer. So it's good that the movie lets you make up your mind for yourself. I would take it a step further and say that the only political message this movie was trying to push was compromise and working together. And that's not a bad thing. Now in typical Marvel fashion, you will have jokes. Some of them will be pop culture references and some of them won't be. But you will find yourself laughing throughout the movie here and there. It is a tremendous mix of story and drama, and you're going to find yourself at the edge of your seat the entire time. There are a few things that come off goofy, but I have to let it slide because after all, this is a comic book movie about a fictional country in the comics. One of the few problems the movie has is there's a few plot points that are obvious and you see it coming a mile away, but the problem is if it didn't happen, it wouldn't work any other way. So you want it to happen and that makes it okay, I guess. At the end of the day, in my opinion, Marvel has done it again because they have managed to take lesser-known superheroes like Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy and bring them to the forefront and to the mainstream. And I feel that Black Panther is no different. 10 or 15 years from now, when somebody watches this movie for the first time, it's going to hold up. Bottom line, if you like comic book movies, you need to go out and see this one because you won't be disappointed. So I'm going to give Black Panther 4.5 stars. So thank you guys for listening to the Derek Ruby Show. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. And as always, have a good one. And I'll see you guys next time. You're still here? Well, what are you waiting for? Go out and see the Black Panther.